Welcome back to my channel, Mischief here. With Feixiao being officially introduced to Honkai Star Rail, we are going to revisit her kit one last time before focusing on other units like Robin, Lingxia, Kafka, and Black Swan. In this official guide for Feixiao, we're going to be covering her kit, relics, eidolons, team options, and some gameplay tips. Just a heads up, before we begin, all calculations that are presented in this video are produced by Darkglade1 and Feixiao from the Feixiao Main Reddit. Now without wasting any more of your time, let's get started. Feixiao is a 5-star wind hunt DPS that revolves around nuking the enemy with a flashy ultimate, while also being a menace by providing speed and follow-up attacks. Her basic attack is nothing special and deals wind damage to one enemy at a 100% multiplier, but this isn't where her kit truly shines. Her talent, after other teammates use an attack against an enemy, Feixiao immediately launches follow-up attacks against the primary target at a 110% multiplier. This effect can only trigger one time per Feixiao turn. When this attack is used, it increases Feixiao's damage by 60% for 2 turns. Her skill deals wind damage to one enemy at a 200% multiplier and immediately launches the talent's follow-up attack against the same target at a 110% multiplier. This follow-up attack does not consume the trigger count for Feixiao's talent. Her ultimate consumes 6 stacks of Flying Aureus and deals wind damage to one enemy at a 540% multiplier. It then launches an additional final hit for a 160% multiplier. If the enemy is not weakness broken during the initial hit, weakness break efficiency for this attack increases by 100% and the attack can reduce enemy toughness break regardless of the weakness. Flying Aureus is the equivalent of Feixiao's energy. Every 2 attacks against enemies, any ally including Feixiao will give Feixiao 1 stack of Flying Aureus, similar to how Akron generates her ultimate, and attacks from Feixiao's ultimate are not counted towards generating her stacks. Stats for her minor traces add up to a total of 28% attack, 12.5% defense, and 12% crit rate. For major traces, Feixiao receives 3 points of Flying Aureus at the start of the battle. At the start of the turn, if follow-up attack is not launched via talent in the turn prior, it counts as gaining 1 stack of Flying Aureus toward the required attack count. A second major trace, when using Feixiao's ultimate to deal damage to an enemy target, it is considered a follow-up attack and increases the crit damage dealt by follow-up attacks by 36%. Her last major trace, when using a skill, her attack is increased by 48% for 3 turns. Feixiao is a lot like Akron in that she really depends on her teammates to generate energy. To make the most of her, you'll want to team her up with characters who attack frequently, either because they're fast or because they have follow-up attacks. This will help her rack up as many Flying Aureus stacks as possible. One of the big highlights of Feixiao's kit is her ultimate, which has a crazy 700% damage multiplier. This makes up a huge chunk of her overall damage, so getting her ultimate off as often as possible should be your top priority. All of her attacks are single target, and she's got a high attack frequency, plus an enhanced Omni Break during her ultimate. This makes her perfect for taking down solo bosses. Even though her ultimate consumes 6 stacks of Flying Aureus each time, she can hold up to 12 stacks, so there's no rush to use it as soon as it's ready. Just make sure you're managing those stacks efficiently. Something else to keep in mind is her first major trace, which acts as a kind of safety net. If you don't trigger her talent's follow-up attack between turns, you'll still gain 1 point toward a Flying Aureus stack. This is especially useful when Feixiao is paired with characters who advance actions like Bronya, Robin, and Sparkle, or when you're using certain blessings in the simulated universe or divergent universe. That said, it's still best to build your team to consistently trigger her talent's follow-up attack whenever possible. Another cool detail, her ultimate's initial attack is split into 6 hits with 2 variants, Bolt Thunder Blitz and War Axe Skyward. Both of these have a 90% multiplier, adding up to a total of 540%. They don't differ in damage. The variants are just there to provide different toughness units depending on whether the target is broken or not. For trace parity, prioritize her ultimate, talent, skill, and basic. Now when it comes to leveling up her traces, max out her ultimate first, since it usually accounts for 70% of her overall damage. After that, focus on her talent because it boosts both her follow-up attack damage and the bonus follow-up attack from her skill. Lastly, you can pretty much ignore her basic attack as it's a major DPS loss compared to using her skill, so avoid it whenever you can. When choosing relic sets for Feixiao, the Wind Soaring Valorous stands out as the top pick. Since her ultimate is the main source of her damage, this set is a natural fit. The extra crit rate it offers is a nice perk that boosts her overall damage potential. Another strong option worth considering is the Ash Blazing Grand Duke set, especially because of its powerful 2-piece bonus. Feixiao's talent follow-up attack might only hit once, but her ultimate hits multiple times, once against non-weakness broken enemies and twice against weakness broken ones. This allows her to quickly stack the Duke set's effects, especially when fighting broken enemies. There's also a clever strategy where you can use her ultimate to fully stack the Duke set, then follow up with her skill while the set is fully charged, just before her follow-up attack resets the stacks. A combination of 2-piece Duke with either 2-piece Eagle or 2-piece attack is a strong choice as well, with the Duke's 2-piece effect carrying a lot of the weight. If you're thinking of mixing a 2-piece set with some other pieces, Duke is the way to go. The Genius of Brilliant Stars set is another option worth considering. The defense shred it offers is always useful, though its 10% shred against non-quantum weak enemies might make it less effective compared to other sets. The 4-piece Musketeer set could also be a good pick if the extra speed it provides allows Feixiao to get an additional turn in your team's rotation. While it's hard to measure the exact impact of the 6% speed boost, it's still a viable option for her to build. Similarly, the success of the 4-piece Eagle set really depends on how well you can utilize the action advance from her ultimate. If you can make the most of it, this set can be quite effective as well. Let's go over the best planar sets for Feixiao, comparing what's ideal for her top tier builds versus the best options for her free-to-play setups. Duran is a great choice. Although it does take some time to ramp up, Feixiao can stack its effects fairly quickly because of her frequent follow-up attacks, especially if she's paired with another character who also focuses on follow-up attacks. If you're having trouble getting Feixiao's crit rate up to 80%, then Cao Soto might be the way to go. It offers a 15% damage boost to both her follow-up attacks and ultimates. However, be aware this bonus doesn't stack for her ultimate, even though it counts as both a follow-up attack and an ultimate attack, so you'll only get the damage boost once. Another great option is the Azumo set. Just like Akron, Feixiao benefits from this set's 12% crit rate boost and 12% attack bonus boost when paired with a Hunt sub DPS unit, which you should be doing anyway. This set is very competitive with Duran and can even surpass it at lower levels of investment. The Glamour set is okay but not as impressive. The extra attack percentage and boost don't add much value since Feixiao already has self-strong buffs for attack and damage. Additionally, achieving 160 speed for the full Glamour bonus can be difficult without giving up other important stats like crit rate and crit damage. Space Sealing Station offers a 24 attack bonus most of the time, which isn't terrible but lags behind some of the other options available. When choosing main stats, focus on crit rate or crit damage. Crit rate generally holds more value for Feixiao, making a crit rate body the preferred choice. However, if you can still reach an 80% crit rate with a crit damage body, that's a viable option too. Speed is generally the preferred option. However, attack boots can also be viable depending on your team's rotation. It's a good idea to check if speed boots help you reach any critical speed thresholds. If not, opt for boots with better substats. For instance, if you're pairing Feixiao with Robin, aiming for a speed of 145 will let her get 7 turns in 3 cycles. Speed breakpoints can be tricky since they depend on when Robin's ultimate is used, so focus on crit rate and crit damage and then consider speed. Regarding the win percent sphere, it usually provides a 1 to 2 boost over attack stats in most cases. However, if you're using swordplay with Feixiao, both options end up being quite similar. For the rogue, go with attack percent since there aren't any better options for the main stat. For substats, keep it simple. Prioritize crit rate, crit damage, attack percent, and flat attack because Feixiao is a crit based DPS. Maintaining a strong crit ratio is key for consistent damage. With additional crit sources from supports like Robin and Hunt March, plus some crit rate built into a kit, crit rate becomes the most crucial substat. If you're using her signature Lightcone, aim for a crit rate of 85% with 150% crit damage if you're using her signature Lightcone. For free-to-play Lightcones, target a crit rate of 85% with 120% crit damage. Okay, now a quick breakdown on her Eidolons. Her E1, after using Bolts Under Blitz or War Axe Skyward, Feixiao's ultimate damage gets an additional 10% boost of the original damage. This bonus can stack up to 5 times and lasts for the entire duration of the ultimate. E2, while her talent is active, Feixiao gains 1 Flying Aureus each time an ally performs a follow-up attack, up to 6 times per turn. This Eidolon is a great upgrade for low spenders, increasing her team's damage output by 1.35 times, compared to having no Eidolons. However, if you're targeting meta characters, note that Robin's Eidolons can offer similar benefits. Feixiao's E4 enhances her follow-up attack by doubling its toughness reduction and also boosts her speed by 8% for 2 turns, whenever the follow-up attack is triggered. Feixiao's E6 Eidolon boosts her damage by 20% against all types of resistance. Additionally, it increases the damage multiplier of her talent's follow-up attack by 140%, treating it as ultimate damage. Alright, now a quick summary for her Lightcones. I venture forth to Hunt is Feixiao's best option. At S1, it boosts her crit rate by 50%. Every time Feixiao performs a follow-up attack, she gets 1 stack of Lumen Flux, up to a total of 2 stacks. Each Lumen Flux stack lets her ultimate ignore 27% of the target's defense. Just remember, 1 stack of Lumen Flux influx will be lost at the end of each turn. To get the most out of Feixiao, build a team with Feixiao, Robin, Topaz, and Aventurine. Topaz is particularly viable because her 50% follow-up attack vulnerability debuff greatly enhances Feixiao's damage. Topaz's frequent attacks with Nami and her own turns mean Feixiao can stack up flying Aurea stacks quickly. Robin adds a massive attack boost, crit damage bonuses, action boosts for the whole team, and decent personal damage. Aventurine is useful for his frequent follow-up attacks and helps with team SP by using his basic attacks. If you're looking for a free-to-play option, Feixiao works well with Hunt March, Paler, and Gallagher. Alright, now for gameplay tips. When Feixiao's flying Aurea stacks are at maximum and Robin's ultimate isn't ready, you might think about using Feixiao's ultimate to avoid wasting stacks. However, simulations suggest that using her ultimate within Concerto can almost double the damage and usually results in better overall performance. Even if it means going over the stack limit, just remember, this isn't a strict rule. Make decisions based on the situation in the battle. Also, keep in mind that Nami's advanced by 50% happens when an enemy with proof of depth is hit by a follow-up attack. Since Feixiao's ultimate counts as a follow-up attack, it helps advance Nami for more damage and attacks. However, if Nami's action value is at 0, he won't advance further. So if Nami is about to attack and his AV is 0, wait to use Feixiao's ultimate after Nami has attacked to get the most benefits. That's going to be it for this quick guide, and again, credits to Perusia and Darkglade1 for producing these calculations. If there's anything I missed out on, or if you have any questions in regards to building Feixiao, leave a comment and I'll try my best getting back to you. I wish you the best of luck in pulling for Feixiao, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on your way out. Alright, see you in a bit.